This one is going to be one of the, let's say, stranger ones because there's a lot of moving parts and there's a lot of things to keep track of. So be ready to pause, try, back up, rehear, pay attention again, but also be prepared to have to try things a couple of times. I'm starting with a Microsoft Word document open. Right now it's blank, and I'm going to start with that as a blank. And then I'm going to take a moment, I'm going to save it in my H drive. So if I go to the File button, Save As, there are a few things that are going to be important here. Number one is H drive. So this PC, scroll down, find my name. Now mine's not called the H drive on this computer. I'm going to put in a folder called Webpage. If you don't have a folder called Webpage, make a folder called Webpage, but I'm going to dump it in there. It says something there. I'm going to call this Practice. Actually, I'm going to spell practice wrong. There we go. Practice 1. Still spelled practice wrong. That's okay. Then before I click Save, second most important thing to do, other than save it somewhere, is save it as the right type. There's lots of different options. I want the option that says web page. It's really important, web page. As soon as I save it as a web page, you'll notice that the page is going to change because it's no longer trying to present something that is going to be printed on a piece of paper. It's going to be displayed on a monitor. From here, I'm going to do a couple things before I do anything else. I'm going to insert a table. And I'm going to insert a table because that's going to give me some control over where things are. So I just put in 4 rows by 3 columns. That gives me a left, middle, right, and then a few top to bottom things. I'm going to size that table to be about so. Not that worried if it's a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. I personally don't like all the borders, so I'm going to select the table and I'm going to turn the borders off. So no borders. But I want to see where the boxes are, so I left what's called the grid lines on, and that's found in the Layout tab, View Grid Lines. So that's what the page is going to look like when it's finally displayed with the grid lines off, but when I'm working with it, I want to be able to see the grid lines. I'm going to put in a title. So give me a minute to put in some things, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the next steps. So a little bit of a timeout for me. Okay, so what I have is I don't have a whole lot, and that's okay. I don't need a whole lot. I want to have a couple of words, I want to have a picture, and then what I want to do is I want to save that. So I'm just going to save it. I don't have to go through the save as thing all the time. I just want to hit save. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find that document in my file manager, not by opening it up in Word, but finding it in my file manager. So give me a second to do that. Okay, so remember I called it Practice 1. I want to point out 2 things. Number 1, the file that I tried to call Practice 1 and I called it something else, but that's okay, is there, but it's not as a Word document, it's as a web page. The other thing is there's a folder called Practice 1 Files. Ignore that. Completely ignore it. Don't open it. Don't look into it. Don't save anything. Just pretend it's not there. If I take Practice 1 and I double click it to open it up, it's going to open it up in the web browser. Notice I've got Chrome happening here. Now what I'm going to do is right now I have a Word document open and I have the Chrome version open. I'm going to make a couple of changes, and just to point out some how I make the changes, how I see the new changes, but also some pitfalls that people fall into. So give me about 3 minutes to make some changes, and then we'll come back and talk about it. Ready? Okay, so I'm back. I only made one significant change, but I want you to pay attention to two things that happened. Number one, again, I'm on the Word document. Number two, I changed the fill of the cell where the title is. Number three, Word automatically made the letters different. Okay, so I need to save that. And all I'm going to do is click on Save. And yes, there's a keyboard shortcut for that I could use instead. I'm going to go to the browser copy. So it's a lot of flipping back and forth. You'll notice nothing is different yet. That's because I need to tell it to go find the new changes. So I'm just going to refresh it. And the refresh button is up on the top, near the top left. When I refresh it, you'll notice that my title completely disappears. And the reason for that is really simple. If I go back to the Word version for a moment, my words for the title, and if I go to the font and the font color, they're set to be automatic, which means Word figures out what the best color, whether it's dark or light, based on the background. If I want my letters to be light, I have to say so. So I have to go in and tell them to be light. And I could tell them to be any color that I wanted. I could go to yellow, which I don't actually like, but I could do that. Save it. Go to the browser copy, refresh it, and now it shows up the way I have it. So I have to be careful because Word will do automatic changes that the browser doesn't recognize. Okay, let's say I'm done for the day. I close everything down. I come in the next day and I want to do some more changes. So when I find my file in the my file manager, if I just double click on practice 1 or whatever that says, it's going to open up the browser. If I want to make some changes, I have to be in the Word copy. So what I do is I right click on the file I want. I find where it says open with. Then I can have it open up with Microsoft Word. It'll start up Word and away I go. I can make the changes. Okay. I'm going to make another page. Well, actually, I already have another page, so I'm going to start to link those two. So now I have two pages. I have a page that I just made, and I have another page called Home, which I'm going to use for now. But you need to have two pages before you can do the next thing. The next thing is to link the two together. Okay, I'm going to use the words Impreza STI. So I'm going to highlight those words. Then I am going to, and there's a couple ways of doing this. I like to right click, but if I right click, there will be an option to hyperlink near the bottom, hyperlink. And then I'm going to find my other page. So the one I'm on right now is practice. So I'm going to link to the other one called home. And I click OK. And then I'm going to click save. I'm going to go to the browser version of that. Going to refresh it. We'll be doing this a lot. Save, go, click, refresh, switch, back and forth. Refresh it. Now I have a link. And if I click on that link, it takes me to the other page, which can't be reached. I'll have to sort that out. But everything looked like it was going to go well. Give me a minute to see if I can figure this out. Okay, I tried it the other way. So I did a link from this other page that was called Home to my page that I just made a moment ago. Let's see if that works. I click on it, it opens up. I don't really know why this one isn't working, but it's not working. So I'm going to take another minute, see if I can figure that out. I said I'd do that last time. I didn't do that last time. Back in a second. Okay, well, let's try something different. I'm going to make another new page, and then I'm going to try that link, try linking to it. So back in a couple minutes. Okay, I thought I'd walk through the save as procedure again just to make sure. So this one, I guess I can call it page 2. I'll save it as a web page. I'll click save. The layout is going to change a little bit. I'm going to live with that. I'm not going to change the page background. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to go back to my one with a car. I'm going to adjust this link And I'm going to edit that hyperlink, and I'm going to have it go to page 2 instead. Click OK. We'll save it. We'll go to the browser. That was back here. We'll refresh it. We'll click on Impreza, and now it goes to where I want it to go. So it does actually work. I'm not sure what happened to that other one, and it doesn't really matter. So a lot of flipping back and forth, a lot of keeping track of what it is you're looking at, and it's actually a lot of trying to just be careful with the layout. After that, it just takes time, but we'll try it. Enjoy making it.